spiritual alarm triggered. Something you've been waiting for will be revealed in this message. But you must open it now. My beloved child, a veil is lifting the moment you hear these words, and Archangel Michael is already stepping closer, signaling that a spiritual alarm has been triggered around your life. Something you have been waiting for, deeply, silently, almost painfully, has begun to move in the unseen realm. This message is not an accident, it is a summon. You were pulled here because the revelation that belongs to you is finally waking up. A strange stillness has been hanging over your spirit lately, hasn't it? The kind that makes you feel like something is shifting, but you can't explain why. Michael whispers that this is the moment your waiting season cracks open. A truth that has been locked behind divine timing is now approaching like a dawn you cannot stop. And heaven knew you would only recognize it when you heard this message. Listen closely. Michael shows a scene like a sealed door, long guarded, long hidden, with your name etched in light across its surface. No one could open it, not even you, because the moment wasn't right until now. He places his sword against the seal, and you can almost feel the vibration in your chest. Something ancient and heavenly is about to break. A revelation tied to your purpose, your household, your path, your past, and your next chapter is preparing to rise. You have felt delayed, overlooked, paused in midair. But Michael declares that your delay was never denial. It was divine orchestration. Heaven has been arranging events behind you, around you, and for you, aligning threads that seemed disconnected. The alarm in the spirit was triggered because the last piece finally locked into place. What you're about to discover is not small. It's the kind of truth that rearranges lives, restores hope, and exposes what has been working against you in the dark. Michael leans in and says, "Child, the thing you are waiting for is closer than breath, but you must stay alert. There are signs around you that you dismissed as coincidence. Shifts in conversation, unusual dreams, people suddenly acting differently, moments of déjà vu. But these were spiritual nudges, precursors, divine taps on your shoulder. They were heaven's way of preparing you so that when this message arrived, you would receive it with clarity instead of fear. You are standing at a threshold moment. And thresholds are powerful. They separate the old story from the new assignment. That is why you feel the tension in your spirit right now. It's not confusion. It's not anxiety. It's your soul recognizing the turn of a page that has not been turned in years. Michael warns that distractions will try to pull you away right now, because the enemy always attempts to interrupt a revelation before it forms. This message carries a key, and keys are always targeted. You must stay until the last word, because the unveiling happens in layers. The first layer has started already, but the next one will shake you. And hear this, nothing is going wrong in your life right now. What looks chaotic is actually alignment. What feels heavy is actually the breaking of the old shell. What feels uncertain is heaven clearing space for something better. The spiritual alarm was not a warning of danger. It was a signal that your destiny is waking up. Michael shows your name surrounded by light, pulsing like a heartbeat. He says your spirit has been calling out for truth, for clarity, for direction, for closure, for justice, for something that finally gives meaning to your long season of waiting. This message is heaven's response to that cry. The revelation is approaching step by step, closer with every moment you stay connected. Keep breathing. Keep listening. The next shift is coming. And trust me, what unfolds next will not only shock you, it will confirm everything your intuition has been sensing for months. This is where the message deepens. Type "I welcome the revelation" in the comments if your spirit feels this stirring. Blessing code 144 is now released. Hold on. What comes next will open the first divine door. a radiant child of destiny. Something in you has already begun to awaken as Archangel Michael steps even closer, guiding you into the deeper layers of the message that was promised. The spiritual alarm that echoed through the unseen was not a single moment. It was the beginning of a sequence, a divine chain reaction. As this second wave unfolds, the energy around you shifts again, almost like a room filling with light you didn't realize was dim before. Michael stands tall beside you, his presence not loud but undeniable, reminding you that the revelation you've been waiting for is not drifting toward you. It is moving with intention, precision, and divine timing. You may not see it yet with your physical eyes, but your spirit has already begun to register the change. You can feel the heaviness loosening. You can feel old resistance weakening. You can feel that sense of something is about to break open, growing stronger. And this is no coincidence. What is coming is too significant to arrive silently. Michael reveals that for months, you have been walking through a spiritual fog. It made you question your decisions, your direction, and sometimes even your purpose. You felt delay that made no sense. You felt emotional weight that didn't match the circumstances. You had days where your spirit felt exhausted, even when your body wasn't. That fog was not a failure, and it was not punishment. Heaven had intentionally veiled certain truths, so you would not move prematurely. There were forces around you, spiritual and human, that were not aligned with your next season. If God had revealed certain things too early, you might have shared them with the wrong person, trusted the wrong spirit, or stepped into an opportunity that looked blessed but carried hidden traps. The fog protected you while the invisible realm rearranged things behind the scenes. But now, in this moment, the fog is thinning. Clarity is approaching. Revelation is rising. And the timing is finally safe. Michael shows you a symbol, a lantern glowing in a dark valley. He says this lantern represents the answers you've been longing for. Not just any answers, but answers tied to why certain connections ended, why certain people shifted, why certain doors closed, and why your spirit felt a strange pressure these last few weeks. These were not coincidences. They were movements in the spiritual realm, the tightening and loosening of divine threads. People who were not meant to walk into your new season began to drift away, even if you didn't understand it at the time. Opportunities that looked promising collapsed at the last minute to keep you from stepping into places that would drain your soul. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly began to feel strained because the spiritual alignment had expired. And even though these changes confuse you, heaven was not confused. Michael says everything that looked like loss was actually protection, and everything that felt like delay was a divine recalibration. Now heaven is preparing to reveal what all of this meant. The message unfolding in this part carries the second layer of the unveiling, the part that connects the dots between your past waiting and your upcoming breakthrough. Michael shows you a vision of a puzzle piece sliding into place, and the moment it locks in, there is a sound like a bell ringing through eternity. This is the same sound that triggered the spiritual alarm around your life. Your purpose was not late. Your blessing was not lost. Your breakthrough was not denied. It simply reached its appointed time, and the heavens responded immediately. Michael leans closer and speaks gently. The thing you have been waiting for was never withheld from you. It was being built for you. This truth settles deeply into your spirit, because you have felt moments of frustration, questioning whether your prayers were heard or whether the promises over your life had been forgotten. But your wait was not a punishment. It was preparation. The revelation coming in this message is tied to the completion of that preparation. Something has matured in you. Something has shifted in your spiritual authority. Something that once would have frightened you, discouraged you, or overwhelm you is now something you can stand firm against. Heaven needed this strength to awaken in you before the next chapter could be released. Michael now shows you another scene, a curtain beginning to pull back, but only halfway. He says the full unveiling will not happen until the next part, but you are now standing in the glow of what is about to be revealed. You may feel a soft pressure in your chest or a stirring in your intuition as you hear this, because your spirit recognizes what your mind has not yet caught up to. Truth is moving toward you. Answers are forming. Breakthrough is rising. A revelation tied to your purpose, your relationships, your spiritual journey, and your destiny is taking shape. The divine sequence has already started, and nothing can stop what has been activated. Stay present, because Michael warns that distractions will intensify around you. This always happens when revelation is near. The enemy does not fear information. He fears clarity. He fears what happens when your spirit recognizes truth. He fears what awakens in you when you realize you were never forgotten, never abandoned, and never out of alignment. Stay centered, stay grounded, and stay connected to this unfolding message. You are closer than you think, and the next wave will shift everything inside you. Hold your breath for a moment. The next layer is almost ready. And trust me, what's coming will make the spiritual alarm make sense. Type "I stand in the light" in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit already felt. Blessing code 229 has now gone forth. Beloved one of the awakening light, breathe deeply as you step into this next wave, because Archangel Michael is drawing even nearer, and the spiritual charge around you is shifting again. This is the part where the revelation you've been sensing begins to sharpen, almost like a blurred image suddenly coming into focus. You have been journeying through a sacred unfolding, one layer at a time, and now heaven begins to expose the meaning behind the spiritual alarm that rang across your destiny. Michael stands at your right, his sword lowered but glowing, not as a threat, but as a sign that something long hidden is preparing to rise. You may feel a quiet trembling in your spirit as you receive this, because what you have been waiting for is no longer distant. It is approaching. It is near. It is already touching the edge of your atmosphere. And this message is the bridge connecting you to the moment everything finally becomes clear. Michael reveals that your spirit has been living between two seasons. One foot in what has already ended, and the other foot on the threshold of what is about to begin. This in-between space has exhausted you, confused you, and stretched you, because it felt like everything was stuck. But the truth is far more divine. You were not stuck. You were stationed. Heaven placed you in a holding position not to restrain you, but to ensure that the wrong people, wrong paths, wrong decisions, and wrong voices could not contaminate what was meant for your future. If you had moved too fast, you would have stepped into places that looked like blessings, but were actually assignments designed to drain your spirit. If you had trusted too quickly, you would have confided in someone who did not carry the integrity to protect your destiny. If you had forced control, you would have damaged what God was shaping. So the pause you hated was actually the protection you needed. But everything changes now. Michael shows you the image of a sealed envelope resting in the palm of his hand. This envelope represents truth that has been waiting, truth that belongs to you, truth that impacts your next steps. He says the seal was not placed there by darkness, but by heaven. Only now is the moment right for it to open. And this message is the pre-opening vibration. You can feel the pressure of the seal loosening. You can feel the air around your life shifting. You can feel the weight of revelation building. Something you have prayed about repeatedly, something that kept returning to your thoughts, something you could not shake no matter how much time passed. This is the moment when that very thing begins to reveal itself. Michael whispers that the spiritual alarm was triggered because the truth you've been waiting for has reached maturity. Heaven does not release revelation until it is right. But now it is. And this ripple is spreading into every corner of your spiritual vision. You may have noticed the subtle signs. Dreams becoming more vivid, sudden flashes of intuition, a strange awareness that something unseen was moving. These were not random. They were the pre-thunder before the revelation storm. They were the shift before the unveiling. They were heaven tapping your shoulder, preparing you to understand what is coming. And now the next part of the truth unfolds. Someone, something, or some situation around you has been carrying a hidden element. Not necessarily something malicious, but something unseen, unspoken, or unrevealed. Michael says this hidden piece will now rise. What was done in shadows will be brought into clarity. What was held back will be exposed. What was misunderstood will be explained. And what was confusing will suddenly make sense. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to free you. The truth that is coming is not here to harm you. It is here to align you. It is here to correct your course. It is here to confirm what your spirit already knew, long before your mind had language for it. Michael now shows you a vision of a line being drawn in front of you, not a line of separation, but a line of transition. He says once this revelation arrives, you will not return to the old patterns, old fears, or old versions of yourself. You have outgrown the season you were trapped in. You have outgrown the emotional burdens that once controlled you. You have outgrown the environments that limited your growth. This revelation is the turning point. It is the moment your spirit has been waiting for. It is the moment your waiting finally makes sense. Stay present, because this is exactly the point where the enemy tries to create distractions. But you are being protected. You are being guided. You are being prepared. Heaven is already ahead of you, clearing the path. Michael says that the revelation approaching your life will not harm you, but it will humble you, elevate you, and awaken you. And you will look back on this moment as the day everything shifted. Before we move forward, lift your spirit a little higher. The next wave carries power, and you are ready for it. If this message is stirring something inside you, make sure you like, share, and comment to help this revelation reach every soul meant to hear it. Do not forget to subscribe, because each message builds upon the next, and what is coming will speak directly to the deepest part of your destiny. Type "I walk into my revelation" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 7774 has been activated over you. Your spirit has entered a moment where heaven is moving with urgency, and the message you have received today is not just for you. It is a seed meant to awaken others across the world. When you support this mission, you are not simply giving. You are sowing into the lives of those who desperately need God to break through the fog surrounding them. Michael's sword burns with the reminder that every seed of light becomes a harvest of transformed souls. God is speaking Isaiah's words over you in real time. Your light shall break forth like the dawn, not as poetry, but as a living prophecy being activated in your life. Hear this invitation in my own voice. I am calling you to stand with this mission so these messages can reach the ones who have no strength left to reach for God themselves. As you release a gift through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you step into a prophetic act that heaven recognizes and rewards. I declare that every giver will walk under an open heaven, and what you release will return to you multiplied with divine precision. Move now, and let your obedience speak louder than hesitation. Chosen one of divine momentum, steady your breath as you enter this next movement, because Archangel Michael is repositioning his wings around you, creating a corridor in the spirit where revelation can travel freely. The air around this message is different now, thicker, charged, almost humming, because you are stepping into the part where heaven begins to expose the undercurrent that has shaped your recent season. You may not have understood why emotions intensified lately, why your spirit felt stretched, why sleep became shallow, or why familiar routines no longer felt right. But Michael whispers that all of these were signs that the veil around the truth you have been waiting for was thinning. You were sensing the vibration of something approaching before it actually arrived. And now, the approach becomes visible. Now the unseen begins to stir with intention. Now the message begins to turn. Michael shows you an ancient gate, its surface etched with markings of time and destiny. This gate represents access to clarity, access to direction, access to truth that was once obstructed. He says that for a long time, this gate remained closed because your spirit was not yet strong enough to handle what stood behind it. Not because you were weak, but because you were still healing from things you had not fully acknowledged. There were wounds you had minimized, disappointments you had carried quietly, and battles you endured alone. These unspoken weights created spiritual noise, making it hard for you to discern what heaven was trying to show you. So the gate remained shut, not as rejection, but as mercy. If the revelation had reached you earlier, it would have collided with unresolved pain and produced confusion instead of breakthrough. But now the atmosphere around you has shifted. Heaven sees that you are ready, not perfect, not finished, but ready. Ready to understand, ready to receive, ready to see. And because of that readiness, the gate begins to open. Not suddenly, not violently, but steadily, like a sunrise expanding across the sky. The light that emerges is soft at first, but it grows, revealing the edges of a truth that has been forming quietly over time. Michael says this truth is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to position you. It is meant to shift your decisions, your relationships, your vision, and your steps. And as this gate opens, something inside you aligns with a clarity you didn't realize you were capable of carrying. Michael allows you to sense the weight of the revelation before he speaks it, because heaven often prepares the heart before releasing the message. You may feel a strange warmth, or a tightening in your chest, or a stillness in your thoughts. This is heaven softening the spiritual soil within you. Then Michael speaks. The thing you have been waiting for is connected to the truth that will rewire your direction. These words echo through your inner world like a bell that has been waiting for years to ring. You might feel chills or a sudden alertness, because your soul recognizes the magnitude of what is unfolding. The truth you've been waiting for is not random. It is not accidental. It is not small. It is foundational. It will influence every part of what comes next for you. Michael now reveals why your spirit recently experienced pressure. That pressure was not an attack. It was a spiritual contraction. Every breakthrough carries contractions. Every revelation pushes against resistance before it arrives. You felt emotional waves, moments of heaviness, moments of questioning, because the revelation was pushing through spiritual layers, trying to reach you. The alarm that triggered in the spirit was not just a signal for you. It was a signal to every opposing force that the time of concealment was over. Darkness cannot hide truth that heaven has chosen to reveal. And what is emerging will expose what needed to be exposed, clarify what needed clarity, and illuminate what was once hidden. Michael shows you another scene, a room that has been in shadow for a long time. Slowly, a beam of light begins to slide across the floor, revealing shapes, outlines, and objects that were always there but simply unseen. He says this is a symbol of your life. There are things around you that have always carried purpose, meaning, or importance, but you could not perceive them clearly because the timing was not aligned. Now the light is moving. Now the truth will come into view. And as it does, you will see connections you never noticed, patterns you didn't understand, and divine reasoning that once felt impossible to grasp. Michael also warns that as light increases, reactions around you may shift. Some people may grow distant because revelation exposes motives. Some opportunities may fall away because they were never meant to follow you through the open gate. Some emotions may rise unexpectedly because your spirit is releasing what once held it back. Do not fear these shifts. They are not signs of loss, but signs of alignment. They are heaven adjusting your path so the truth can reach you without interference. What is coming will not break you, it will prepare you. What is rising will not confuse you, it will awaken you. What is revealing itself will not burden you, it will free you. And even now, your spirit knows this. You can feel anticipation forming in places where exhaustion once lived. You can feel clarity pressing against confusion. You can feel hope blooming where discouragement once tried to settle. You are stepping into spiritual ground where everything begins to make sense. Stay close to this message. Stay connected to this unfolding. The next wave carries precision, and you do not want to miss the moment it strikes your spirit. Type "I walk into divine clarity" in the comments if this message is resonating. Blessing code 441 has been released. Beloved vessel of unfolding truth, take a steady breath as you cross into this next wave, because Archangel Michael is repositioning the atmosphere around you with deliberate care. You may feel a subtle shift within you, a gentle tightening in your spirit, because what is being revealed now is not just information, but preparation. The spiritual alarm that was triggered around your life did not sound randomly. It was activated because a divine sequence had begun, and this part of the message guides you deeper into that awakening. Michael stands before you with a steadiness that anchors your soul, reminding you that the revelation you have been waiting for is approaching with the force of destiny. You are not wondering. You are not guessing. You are not hoping blindly. You are being guided, step by step, into a truth that will realign your path and reconnect you with purpose. Michael shows you an image of yourself standing at a shoreline. Waves crash in front of you, and for a long time, those waves represented uncertainty. They symbolized questions you could not answer and emotions you could not fully express. You felt caught between wanting to move forward and fearing the unknown. But now the waves look different. Michael touches the water with the tip of his sword, and the sea begins to calm. This is the change happening in your spirit. You are no longer standing in the midst of confusion. You are standing at the entry point of clarity. The waters that once overwhelmed you are beginning to separate so you can walk through them with confidence. The revelation you are waiting for will not only explain the turbulence of your past season, it will show you why you were guided to stand still when everything in you wanted to run. Michael then speaks gently, and his words ring with authority. There are truths that arrive softly, and there are truths that arrive like a shift in the wind. What is coming to you now is the second time. You may feel a stirring in your chest as these words settle, because your spirit recognizes that something significant is approaching. You have endured long stretches of silence, moments where you questioned whether heaven still remembered your name, and seasons where you felt invisible even to yourself. But none of this was wasted. None of it was overlooked. You were being honed, shaped, and refined so that the revelation preparing to reach you would not overwhelm you, but empower you. Michael shows you another scene, a path that winds through a dense forest. For a long time, this path represented your journey. Twists you did not understand, shadows that made you uneasy, and moments where you felt lost. But as Michael lifts his sword, light begins to form on the path, illuminating stones, roots, and markers you never noticed before. He says this is what the next phase of your life will feel like. Illumination, understanding, direction. What was once hidden will rise to the surface. What once felt uncertain will gain clarity. The truth you have been expecting, longing for, or searching for is about to emerge, and it will change the way you see everything around you. Michael also reveals that your spirit has outgrown old patterns. You have shed layers you didn't realize were weighing you down. You have moved through internal storms that developed endurance, wisdom, and discernment. These qualities are essential for what is coming. The revelation you are about to receive is not meant for the version of you who existed last year or even last month. It is meant for the matured, grounded, awakened version of you that has been slowly but steadily forming. Heaven waited for this growth before opening the door to the next chapter. Then Michael shifts the vision again. You see a large book resting on a stone pedestal. The book is closed, sealed by a golden clasp. He says this book represents divine records, truths, timelines, alignments, and reasons. Things that were written concerning you long before you ever felt the impact of your trials. Michael touches the clasp, and it unlocks slowly, as though responding to your readiness. The book does not open fully yet, but the moment the seal breaks, you feel a surge of energy move through you. This is the vibration of revelation beginning to activate. You may sense this even now. A slight awakening in your intuition, a spark in your awareness, or a sense that something long-awaited is beginning to lift its head from the shadows. Michael says the truth coming toward you will answer a question you have carried in silence. It will bring closure to something your soul has wrestled with. It will illuminate the meaning behind a season that felt endless. And it will reveal a hidden layer connected to your destiny. You will not have to force this revelation, chase it, or beg for it. It is being delivered to you because the time has come. The spiritual alarm signaled that the cycle of waiting had closed, and the cycle of unveiling had begun. Heaven will not allow you to move blindly into your future. You will step forward with awareness, insight, and divine confirmation. Michael concludes this portion with a powerful reminder. You are not stepping into confusion. You are stepping into clarity. You are not walking into darkness. You are walking into sight. These words are meant to anchor you as the next layer of revelation approaches. Stay attentive. Stay open. Stay aligned. The unveiling continues in waves, and the next one carries depth that your heart is ready to receive. Type "I am ready for holy revelation" in the comments if this message is stirring certainty within you. Blessing code 315 has been released for this moment. Beloved child of rising discernment, steady yourself as you enter this next wave, because Archangel Michael is drawing even closer, and the spiritual current around you is intensifying in a way your soul can feel even before your mind understands it. You have crossed several thresholds already, and now you step into the part where revelation begins to sharpen its edges. This is not the soft illumination of early awakening. This is the deeper unveiling, the kind that reaches into the roots of your spirit and shows you why the spiritual alarm around your life went off with such force. Michael stands to your right with a clarity in his gaze, and his presence feels both protective and expectant, as though heaven has been waiting for you to reach this point so the next layer could finally unfold. Michael begins by showing you an image of a mountain shrouded in mist. For a long time, this mountain symbolized your uncertainty, an obstacle you could sense but never fully see. You climbed in faith, step by step, even when the fog made the path seem invisible. There were moments when you wondered if you were going in circles, whether you had misinterpreted the signs, or whether you had mistaken waiting for stagnation. But now the mist begins to thin. The outline of the mountain becomes visible. The path you have been following, the one you feared might have been wrong, begins to reveal its purpose. Michael whispers that every step you took in the dark was recorded in heaven as an act of spiritual obedience. The fog was not confusion. It was divine timing protecting you from seeing too much too soon. Now that your spirit has matured, the mist lifts further, revealing what lies ahead. Michael says the revelation coming toward you will clarify not only your past season, but also your next assignment. You have been sensing the shift, the stirring, the quiet whisper of change. These were not random feelings. They were spiritual signals indicating that something long concealed was approaching its moment of exposure. Michael shows you a scroll rolled tightly, bound with a red seal. He says this scroll represents truth that was kept hidden until you reach this exact moment. Heaven does not release revelation simply because you desire it. It releases revelation when your spirit has grown strong enough to hold it. That strength is now present within you. The seal begins to loosen, and the air around the scroll vibrates with expectation. Michael explains that one of the reasons the alarm was triggered in the spirit is because heaven saw a shift happening around you, an internal one and an external one. Internally, your spirit began to awaken at a deeper level. Old patterns broke. Old attachments loosen. Old fears dissolve. You began to trust your intuition more, even when circumstances did not validate what you sensed. You learned to rest in uncertainty without surrendering to anxiety. You learned to wait without collapsing into despair. Heaven waited for this version of you, steady, discerning, calm, before releasing what is coming next. Externally, forces around you began to move. Some people's true intentions surface. Some opportunities reveal their hidden sides. Some environments became uncomfortable because they no longer aligned with your growth. These shifts were not random disruptions. They were signals that your life was preparing to align with a new spiritual frequency. Michael whispers that the revelation coming toward you will explain why certain people changed suddenly, why certain decisions felt heavy, and why certain paths closed even when you thought they were meant to open. Nothing was malfunctioning. Everything was reorganizing. Michael now shows a vision of a locked door with a faint light shining underneath. This door represents a truth that has been withheld from you, not as punishment, but as preservation. If the door had opened earlier, you would not have recognized the fullness of what waited behind it. But now the light under the door grows brighter. Michael rests his hand on the lock, and you feel a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The lock does not break. It responds. It opens because you are ready. As the door begins to move, light spills out slowly, illuminating your surroundings with a warmth that feels ancient and intentional. This light symbolizes clarity. It reveals what your spirit has been sensing but could not articulate. It reveals the connection between your waiting, your growth, and your future. It reveals that nothing was random, even when it seemed chaotic. Michael says the revelation will arrive not like a sudden explosion, but like a rising tide, growing, deepening, expanding, until it touches every part of your understanding. You will see why heaven delayed certain outcomes. You will see why certain relationships were redirected. You will see why your heart needed time to heal before stepping into the next season. Michael also emphasizes that this revelation will not harm you. It will correct. It will refine. It will reposition. But it will not break you. Heaven has no intention of overwhelming you. Heaven intends to strengthen you. And this strength will become evident as the truth begins to unfold. You will not respond with fear. you will respond with recognition. Your spirit already knows the shape of what is coming, even if your mind has not yet received the full picture. Michael draws a circle on the ground, symbolizing completion. He says the revelation will not leave your life fragmented. It will close old chapters in a way that finally feels complete. It will open new chapters in a way that feels intentional. And it will bring a sense of peace you have not felt in a long time. You will breathe differently. You will think differently. You will move differently. Heaven has been preparing you for this alignment for far longer than you realize. Heaven is leaning in. The revelation is approaching. And the next wave carries a depth that your spirit is finally prepared to receive. Type "I receive holy understanding" in the comments if this message speaks to your inner knowing. Blessing code 909 has been released over your journey. Beloved seeker of divine unveiling, step gently yet boldly into this next wave because Archangel Michael is shifting the realm around you once again. The atmosphere is not just charged, it is awakening with purpose, almost as if every unseen layer around your life is stirring in preparation for what is about to be revealed. You have walked through 6 deep movements already, each one peeling away another veil. And now you arrive at a moment where heaven begins to reveal the texture of the truth that has been waiting for you. Michael stands taller than before, wings slightly spread, his presence radiating both protection and guidance. It is as though the very air knows that you are approaching the threshold of a revelation that will alter the way you move forward. Michael begins by showing you an image of a great river at dawn. The river represents the flow of time in your life, constant, moving, carrying moments from past to present. For years, parts of your journey have felt dammed, blocked, or slowed, as though something unseen was holding back the movement you longed for. Opportunities were delayed, answers felt distant, clarity seemed unreachable. But now, the water is stirring. A soft rumble grows beneath the surface. The river begins to rise, not with chaos, but with purpose. Michael whispers that this rising symbolizes the release of what was withheld. The spiritual alarm around your life did not sound because something was going wrong. It sounded because something long delayed was finally breaking loose. Michael then shifts the vision. You see a compass, ancient and glowing faintly. The needle has been spinning for a long time, pointing in conflicting directions, reflecting the confusion you felt in your spirit during past seasons. You prayed for answers, but the responses you received seemed incomplete or delayed. You asked for direction, but circumstances around you remained uncertain. You hoped for clarity, but your path seemed tangled. However, now the spinning stops. The needle steadies. And Michael says, "This is the hour where your direction aligns." A divine correction is taking place within your spirit, aligning your steps to the truth that heaven has been preparing to reveal. Michael explains that the waiting you endured was not passive. It was shaping you. Every moment of tension expanded your capacity for discernment. Every unanswered question strengthened your spiritual endurance. Every delay refined the way you listened to heaven. You were being prepared to receive revelation not with fear, but with understanding. Not with doubt, but with faith. Not with confusion, but with clarity. You needed this strengthening, because what is coming will require stability, and heaven did not want you shaken by what you are about to learn. Michael now shows a room filled with doors. Some doors are old, scratched, and worn. Others are new and shining. Some are slightly open, while others are sealed shut. He reveals that these doors represent opportunities, relationships, chapters, and paths connected to your destiny. For a long time, you tried to open certain doors on your own, but they would not move. You questioned whether you were unprepared, unworthy, or forgotten. But now Michael points to one specific door, one that has been glowing faintly this entire time. This door represents the revelation you have been waiting for. It is not merely an answer. It is a doorway into a new level of your calling. Heaven kept this door closed until the appointed time. And now, the glow grows brighter. This is the moment the hinges begin to shift. Michael pauses and lets you feel the energy of the approaching truth. You may sense a heaviness lifting from your chest, or an awakening in your intuition, because your spirit recognizes that what is coming is meant for your elevation. He then speaks with a clarity that rings like a bell. The truth coming toward you is not to harm you, but to align you. These words settle deep, because they speak to the fear you carried quietly, that the revelation you were waiting for might bring disappointment, heartbreak, or chaos. But heaven does not reveal truth to destroy you. Heaven reveals truth to liberate you, to direct you, to strengthen you, to shift your perspective so you can walk into the next season with your head lifted high and your spirit anchored. Michael reveals another scene, a scale balancing two weights. He explains that your past season was one of imbalance, moments where you gave too much and received too little, moments where you carried burdens that were not yours, moments where your loyalty outweighed the reciprocity around you. This imbalance drained your energy, your joy, and your confidence. But the revelation approaching your life will restore balance. It will expose what needs adjustment. It will show you where to release, where to hold on, and where to redirect your efforts. The truth will bring fairness into areas where you were treated unfairly. It will bring justice where you were misunderstood. It will bring closure where you were left without answers. Michael emphasizes that your heart is stronger now. You can receive the truth not as a wound, but as wisdom. Not as pain, but as empowerment. Not as confusion, but as confirmation. This is why heaven waited until this exact time. This is why the alarm sounded. The spiritual realm recognized that you had reached a level of readiness required to carry the revelation with clarity instead of fear. As the vision fades, Michael speaks one more time, and his tone deepens. Do not turn away from the truth when it arrives. It is the doorway into your next elevation. These words are meant to anchor you as you prepare to enter the next layers of unveiling. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into understanding. You are not walking into heartbreak. You are walking into freedom. You are not being surprised. You are being aligned. Stay near. Stay attentive. The next movement carries weight that your spirit is prepared to embrace. Type "I align with divine truth" in the comments if this message speaks deeply to your spirit. Blessing code 721 has been released over this moment. Beloved carrier of awakening truth, step with intention into this next wave, because Archangel Michael stands closer than ever before, forming a shield of divine clarity around your spirit. The atmosphere is shifting again, not softly, but with a decisive pull, as though heaven itself is leaning forward to deliver what has been waiting for you. You have journeyed through deep layers already, but now you step into the part where the revelation begins to take shape in a way your soul can finally grasp. Michael's wings lift slightly, casting a radiant glow around you. His presence feels heavier, more focused, more urgent. This is the moment where heaven begins to prepare you for the unveiling that will position you for everything your spirit has been sensing in silence. Michael starts by showing you an image of a vast horizon stretching endlessly before you. For a long time, the horizon represented uncertainty, an endless stretch of possibilities with no clear path marked out. It made you feel suspended, waiting for direction, waiting for confirmation, waiting for anything that felt solid beneath your feet. But now, as the vision sharpens, a beam of light begins to break across the horizon. The dawn is no longer distant. It is rising. Michael whispers that this symbolizes the beginning of understanding, the moment where confusion loosens and the truth begins its journey toward your awareness. The spiritual alarm that triggered was heaven's signal that the dawn was breaking, that the long night of waiting was ending. Then Michael shows you a clock, its hands spinning rapidly, faster than seems natural. For months, time has felt strange to you. Some days moved painfully slow. Other days raced forward without explanation. You felt rushed in moments when nothing was happening, and delayed in moments when everything seemed urgent. Heaven reveals that this distortion of time was not emotional imbalance. It was spiritual alignment. Heaven was speeding certain moments and slowing others, so the revelation could arrive at the exact moment your spirit would be ready to receive it. Michael says that now the spinning stops. Time is aligning. The season is shifting. The moment has arrived. Michael then reveals a scene of a sealed chest resting in the middle of an ancient chamber. The chest is covered in symbols. Some you recognize, and others you instinctively understand even if you've never seen them before. This chest represents a truth that has been locked away for years, hidden from you not out of cruelty, but out of protection. Heaven guards certain revelations until the moment you can receive them without fear, distortion, or self-sabotage. Now, Michael places his sword on the lid, and it begins to glow. The lock does not break. It dissolves. You can feel a vibration in your spirit as this happening unfolds, because the chest symbolizes the revelation your soul has been waiting for. The lid opens slowly, and inside the chest is something that resembles a mirror, but not a mirror that reflects your face. Instead, it reflects moments, connections, decisions, and memories that have shaped your journey. The mirror shifts through different points in your life, revealing how certain experiences were not random, how certain people were placed in your path for a purpose, and how certain events were meant to guide you rather than harm you. Michael says the revelation that's coming will connect these points, illuminating a thread you never realized was weaving through your journey. This is not just personal truth. It is divine truth, truth that will reframe your understanding of your purpose. Michael now speaks with a firmness that feels like a spiritual command. The truth approaching your life is not simply information. It is a turning point. These words settle into your chest with a weight that feels both grounding and freeing. You will not leave this revelation the same way you entered it. It will shift the narrative of your life. It will close doors that have been draining your energy. It will open doors that have been waiting for your courage. It will expose hidden motives, bring alignment to your relationships, and illuminate the path you are meant to walk next. Michael shows you another image, a bridge stretching over a deep canyon. For a long time, you've been standing at the edge of this canyon, feeling ready to move forward, but unsure of how to cross. But the bridge was not missing. It was invisible until the right moment. Heaven did not want you to cross prematurely. Now the bridge becomes visible, piece by piece, forming itself beneath your steps as you walk. This symbolizes that the revelation approaching will create the path you've been waiting for. You will not have to force it. You will not have to guess. You will not have to fight blindly. The path will appear, and you will walk with certainty. Michael emphasizes that as this truth rises, reactions around you may shift. Some will sense the elevation coming your way, even before you fully understand it. Do not fear this. Do not resist this. Do not shrink because of this. When heaven prepares to elevate someone, the atmosphere around their life always changes. Relationships shift. Opportunities move. Emotions rise. But every shift is part of alignment. And heaven has chosen this moment to align you. You are about to receive clarity that brings relief. You are about to receive truth that brings strength. You are about to receive revelation that brings direction. The next layer is ready. If this message resonates with you deeply, make sure you like, comment, share, hype this revelation, and subscribe so you don't miss the next unfolding. Type "I step into my divine moment" in the comments if your spirit feels the shift. Blessing code 811 has now been released. Heaven is moving through this message with purpose, and the light that is awakening in you is meant to reach thousands more who are walking in the same shadows you once faced. When you support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who desperately need divine clarity before their breaking point. Michael's presence reminds you that every seed you release becomes a spiritual torch placed into another person's hands. God is declaring over you, your seed will multiply like rivers in the desert, not as poetry, but as a living promise meant to open your own paths. Hear my voice as the bridge. I am inviting you to stand in this work with action, not hesitation, so more hearts can be reached with heaven's message. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your giving becomes a prophetic act that heaven immediately recognizes. I speak blessings over every supporter. May your generosity return to you as open doors, divine protection, and supernatural clarity. Move boldly, because your obedience in this moment is part of heaven's unfolding. Beloved guardian of unfolding purpose, take a grounded breath as you step into this next wave, because Archangel Michael is drawing near with a determined focus, shifting the atmosphere around you into a place of heightened revelation. This is the part where heaven begins to peel back the deeper layers that have remained hidden beneath the surface of your journey. You have come through 8 powerful waves already, each one sharpening your awareness, strengthening your spirit, and preparing your heart to receive what is rising now. Michael stands with his sword lowered, not in battle stance, but in a posture of guidance, pointing toward the direction heaven is leading you. The energy around him hums with purpose. The unveiling continues. Michael begins by showing you a vision of a staircase spiraling upward into clouds. For a long time, you've been climbing this staircase without seeing where it led. Each step felt like progress, yet the destination remained hidden. You carried moments of fear, moments of doubt, and moments where you wondered if the staircase even had an end. You questioned whether every step mattered or whether you were walking in circles. But now, the clouds begin to thin. The staircase is no longer wrapped in mystery. You can see the top, faintly, but clearly enough to know you weren't climbing in vain. Michael whispers that the staircase symbolizes your spiritual progression. Every silent prayer, every moment of surrender, every time you held on to faith despite exhaustion, these were steps that elevated you. And now, you are reaching the level where the revelation you have been waiting for can finally meet you. Michael shifts the scene. You see a field at dusk, vast and empty except for one large stone in the center. That stone has been sitting in your path for years, representing delays, disappointments, unanswered questions, and unresolved emotions. You tried to move around it. You tried to ignore it. You tried to pretend it wasn't there. But it always felt heavy in your spirit. Now, Michael approaches the stone and places his hand on it. Light fills the cracks along its surface, and suddenly, the stone begins to lift, rising slowly from the ground. Michael says this stone symbolizes the weight that has been hindering your clarity. It is being lifted now because the revelation approaching your life requires clear sight, steady footing, and emotional space. Heaven is clearing the obstacles that once blocked your understanding. Then Michael reveals something deeper. Hidden beneath the lifted stone is a small box, glowing faintly. This box represents a buried truth. Something you sensed, something you wondered about, something you felt intuitively but could never fully confirm. Heaven kept this truth hidden until now because it required maturity, discernment, and divine timing for you to receive it without confusion or fear. The glow intensifies as Michael hands the box to you. You feel a subtle trembling within your spirit because what is inside carries significance. Something long concealed is being brought into the light. Michael instructs you not to open the box yet. He says the revelation inside is meant to unfold gradually, not all at once. Heaven will not overwhelm you. Heaven will guide you into each layer. He reminds you that this journey is not meant to break your heart. It is meant to strengthen your spirit. Not to shock you with darkness, but to illuminate your path with understanding. The truth inside this box will answer more than one question. It will clarify past seasons, illuminate present decisions, and shape the direction of your future. You have been sensing this truth approaching, and now heaven confirms that its arrival is close. Michael now shows you another scene, a hallway lined with doors, each representing moments from your life. Some doors represent friendships. Others represent opportunities. Others represent losses, lessons, or turning points. Many of these doors are closed, but as you walk with Michael, certain doors begin to glow. He says the glowing doors represent moments connected to the revelation you are about to receive. These are not random memories. They are clues. Heaven is about to connect these moments together, showing you a pattern you couldn't see before. And once this pattern becomes clear, you will understand why the spiritual alarm around your life was triggered so powerfully. Michael emphasizes that the revelation coming toward you will not simply tell you what happened. It will tell you why. And the why is what brings freedom. The why is what brings closure. The why is what restores your power. You will understand why certain people were positioned in your life temporarily. You will understand why specific moments felt spiritually charged. You will understand why your intuition kept tugging at certain details you didn't know how to interpret. Heaven is piecing it all together. Michael then places his hand on your shoulder and speaks with gentle authority. You are being prepared, not warned. You are being aligned, not disrupted. You are being elevated, not exposed. These words settle deeply because they dismantle the fear you carried silently, the fear that the revelation waiting for you might hurt you. But heaven is not leading you into harm. Heaven is leading you into understanding. You will not be shaken. You will be awakened. Michael shows a final image, a lantern lighting itself without being touched. He explains that this lantern represents your spirit. Even before the full revelation arrives, your inner light is already responding to it. You may notice sudden insights, unexpected clarity, or rising intuition in the cunning moments. This is your spirit recognizing what heaven is preparing to show you. Trust these signals. They are not imagination. They are alignment. As the vision fades, Michael stands beside you once more, anchoring your heart in peace. The next layer of revelation is approaching, and heaven wants you to receive it with confidence, not fear. Type I embrace heaven's revelation if this message is awakening something within you. Blessing code 554 has been released over your journey. Beloved carrier of divine unfolding, breathe slowly as you enter this next wave, because Archangel Michael stands before you with a presence that feels heavier, more deliberate, more precise than in the waves before. This is the part where heaven begins aligning the inner and outer realms of your life, preparing you to receive the portion of truth that has been waiting behind multiple layers of timing. You have traveled through 9 deep spiritual movements already, each one stripping away confusion, sharpening your discernment and stabilizing your heart. Now heaven prepares you for the next layer, the one that carries the weight of understanding, the one that explains why the spiritual alarms surrounding your life rang with such intensity. Michael's wings are not spread wide. They are drawn in close, signaling that this is a moment requiring protected focus. Michael begins by showing you a vision of a vast library filled with endless shelves, each one holding records of destinies, decisions, and divine alignments. You walk with him through the long halls, passing shelves that carry moments from your past, moments from your current journey, and moments from your future that are still forming. Michael leads you to one specific book, a large volume, wrapped in deep blue light. This book represents your unfolding purpose. He opens the book to a page that glows brighter than the rest. The words are not written in ink. They are written in light. Michael explains that this page reveals the alignment heaven has been preparing, the alignment that couldn't be revealed until you reached this exact spiritual state. He shows you the page closely, and you see that it contains symbols, patterns, and lines that appear to move as you look at them. These are not ordinary markings. They represent connections, connections between decisions, relationships, experiences, and spiritual moments you once viewed as separate. Michael says that the revelation you are approaching is not a single truth, but a series of truths woven together. The spiritual alarm sounded because these connections began to activate all at once. Threads that were once silent started pulling into alignment. Events that seemed unrelated began forming a divine pattern. Heaven responded to this activation by calling your spirit into deeper awareness. Michael shifts the scene again. You now stand in a quiet garden under a sky filled with swirling clouds. This garden represents your inner world, places where seeds have been planted, places where growth has occurred, places where weeds once tried to take root, and places where flowers have bloomed unexpectedly. In the center of the garden stands a large tree. Michael touches its trunk, and suddenly the branches light up, revealing memories, moments of intuition, and quiet whispers you ignored or doubted. He explains that every moment of sensing, every moment you felt something stirring, even when you had no evidence, was heaven gently nudging you toward recognition. You were not imagining things. You were discerning spiritually. And now, heaven is ready to confirm what your spirit has already known in pieces. Michael moves closer to the glowing branches. Each branch begins to hum with a soft vibration, revealing that the truth coming toward you is not isolated. It is intertwined with multiple parts of your journey. It may involve someone, a situation, an opportunity, a shift in your environment, or a redirection of your path. But what is certain is that the truth is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to bring alignment. It is meant to bring clarity to places that have been in shadow for far too long. It is meant to illuminate what your spirit has been ready to receive. He now shows you a doorway along the edge of the garden. The doorway has no door, only a frame of light. Michael says you are approaching a transition, one that will require you to step into understanding with confidence rather than hesitation. Behind this doorway lies the fuller version of the revelation you have been waiting for. Heaven is guiding you toward it with care. The spiritual alarm was not a warning of danger. It was a signal that the timing had shifted. This doorway was once dim, but now it glows brightly, indicating the moment of transition is close. Michael reveals another scene, a circle drawn in the dirt at your feet. This circle symbolizes completion. He says you are not simply receiving a revelation, you are closing a cycle of unanswered questions, a cycle of emotional weight, a cycle of spiritual searching, a cycle of feeling suspended between seasons. The revelation will close what needed closing and open what is meant to begin. And once the cycle completes, you will no longer feel like you are living between chapters. You will step fully into the next one. Michael places his hand over your heart, and a warmth spreads through your spirit. He speaks with a calm intensity. The truth approaching you is designed to lift you, not burden you. It is designed to clarify, not confuse. It is designed to empower, not weaken. These words settle into your spirit like anchors, reminding you that heaven never reveals truth to destroy you. Heaven reveals truth to free you. Heaven is aligning your heart for what comes next. Your spirit is being steadied. The pathway is being illuminated, and the revelation is moving closer by the moment. Type "I stand in divine alignment" in the comments if you feel this message preparing your spirit. Blessing code 660 has been released into this moment. Beloved seeker of divine understanding, enter this next wave with a steady heart, because Archangel Michael is drawing so close that the spiritual air around you feels dense, intentional, and almost electric. You have traveled far into this unfolding, and now you arrive at the place where heaven begins positioning your spirit to receive the impact of the revelation that has been moving toward you. The silence before this moment has been purposeful. The stillness you've felt lately has not been emptiness. It has been preparation. Michael stands beside you with a posture that carries both authority and tenderness, as though he knows the nearness of what is about to open in your life and wants you to meet it with strength, not hesitation. He begins by showing you an image of a vast desert under a star-filled sky. This desert represents the seasons of dryness you walked through, the times when nothing seemed to move, nothing seemed to shift, nothing seemed to respond to your prayers. You felt alone at times, as though heaven was distant or silent. But now, Michael touches the sand with the tip of his sword, and suddenly the ground lights up beneath you, revealing streams of water flowing beneath the surface. He explains that you were never truly in a barren place. Beneath the dryness were hidden rivers, connections, opportunities, divine alignments, and spiritual insights waiting for the right moment to rise. The spiritual alarm that triggered around your life was heaven's signal that these hidden waters had begun to flow upward. Michael shifts the vision to a lantern, dimly lit, but still burning. This lantern represents your inner resilience. Throughout every season of confusion, pressure, and uncertainty, your light never went out. It flickered at times, but it endured. Michael says this endurance is what qualified you for the revelation that is approaching. Heaven watches not for perfection, but persistence. Not for flawless strength, but faithful endurance. Your ability to keep moving, even when clarity was absent, proved that you were ready for what comes next. Then he shows you a bridge made of stone, stretching across a deep valley. This bridge has existed in your spiritual journey for years, but much of it was hidden in fog, which kept you from stepping onto it. Now the fog is lifting, revealing the full structure. Michael says this bridge represents the transition you are entering. You are no longer meant to stand on the edge of uncertainty. You are meant to cross into understanding, clarity, and completion. The truth approaching your life will serve as the guiding light that leads you across this bridge with certainty. Michael then brings forth a deeper image, a sealed envelope made of pure light. He holds it carefully, as though its contents contain a weight meant only for you. He explains that this envelope has been sealed by heaven for years, guarded until your spirit reached the maturity necessary to receive it without fear or misinterpretation. The revelation inside is not fragile, but the timing has been. Heaven needed the right moment, the right alignment, the right emotional foundation, and the right spiritual posture. Now all of those elements have converged, creating the doorway through which this truth will soon pass. He presses the envelope to your chest, and you feel a soft surge of heat move through you. This is not the revelation itself. It is the energy of it. Heaven always introduces the vibration of the truth before releasing the truth. You may have felt this energy recently through unusual dreams, heightened intuition, sudden clarity, emotional shifts, or moments where your spirit felt restless without explanation. These were signs that the revelation was drawing closer. Michael says you were sensing the expansion before seeing the unveiling, just as the earth feels the tremor before the shift. Now Michael shifts your surroundings again. You find yourself standing before a large mirror, not one that shows your physical reflection, but one that shows the evolution of your spirit. The mirror cycles through different versions of you. The wounded you, the hopeful you, the lost you, the rising you, the discerning you. Michael says this mirror represents the way the revelation will change you. You will not remain the version of yourself you were before receiving it. The truth will refine you, sharpen you, and elevate you. You will gain clarity that alters your decisions, your relationships, your goals, and your expectations. What once confused you will become simple. What once drained you will lose its power. What once intimidated you will no longer have authority over you. The mirror fades, and Michael brings forth a final scene, a scale balancing two weights. He says this scale symbolizes justice, divine justice, emotional justice, spiritual justice. The revelation approaching your life will bring balance to areas that have felt uneven for far too long. Places where you were misjudged will be corrected. Places where you were overlooked will be compensated. Places where you were confused will be clarified. Heaven has monitored every imbalance, and now the time has come for restoration. Michael places his hand upon your back and speaks in a voice steady and full of certainty. The truth that comes will not break you. It will lift you. It will not burden you. It will free you. It will not confuse you. It will direct you. These words settle into your heart like anchors, grounding you in readiness. Heaven is not preparing you for shock. Heaven is preparing you for alignment. You are not walking into fear. You are walking into clarity. Stay close. Stay attentive. The next wave carries the impact your spirit has been expecting. Type "I receive the alignment of heaven" in the comments if this message resonates deeply. Blessing code 118 has been released over this moment. Beloved child standing at the threshold of revelation, breathe with intention as you enter this final wave, because Archangel Michael is now standing before you in the fullness of his authority, wings expanded in a way that signals completion, culmination, and prophetic release. The air around you feels heavier, not with burden, but with destiny. You have walked through 11 powerful unveilings, each one preparing your heart, sharpening your spirit, and aligning your path for this moment right here. Heaven has guided you layer by layer, breath by breath, step by step, and now you stand where the journey has been leading since the first whisper of awakening touched your spirit. Michael's presence wraps around you like a mantle, signaling that what you are about to receive is the moment you're waiting, has been pointing toward. He begins by showing you a vision of a doorway made of pure white light. This doorway is unlike any shown before, brighter, taller, and vibrating with the frequency of divine clarity. Michael explains that this doorway is not symbolic anymore. It is literal in the spiritual realm. You have reached the moment where heaven begins to complete what was initiated when the spiritual alarm first sounded around your life. This alarm was not a random call. It was the signal that the sealed truth you have been sensing, the one rippling beneath every moment of intuition, was approaching the moment it could finally be revealed. Michael gestures, and the doorway slowly begins to open. Inside, you do not see chaos or darkness. You see order. You see timing. You see alignment. You see purpose stretching out like a tapestry stitched together by unseen hands over the course of your journey. Every disappointment, every moment of confusion, every unexpected shift, and every silent season was woven into this tapestry. Things that once felt disconnected now reveal themselves as threads of a larger plan. You are not standing before a mystery. You are standing before the resolution of one. Michael then shows you a second vision, a river flowing from the doorway. The water is clear, illuminated from within. He says this river represents the truth that is coming into your life. Pure, clarifying, cleansing, untainted by fear or distortion. This truth will not merely answer a lingering question. It will refresh your spirit. It will wash away the weight of uncertainty. It will rinse away doubt. It will return strength to places where you felt drained. Heaven does not reveal truth to wound you. Heaven reveals truth to free you. And this is the freedom you have been sensing in your spirit without fully understanding why. The river draws closer, and as it touches your feet, something inside you awakens. Your intuition sharpens, your heart steadies, your discernment rises. Michael explains that this reaction is not emotional, it is spiritual recognition. Your spirit knew this moment would come. It has been preparing for it. It has been stretching, learning, enduring, growing, and shedding old layers to become capable of receiving the fullness of what heaven is bringing now. The revelation was not delayed because heaven hesitated. It was delayed because heaven was preparing you to be able to hold it. Michael shifts the vision once more. You now see yourself standing on a bridge, the same bridge revealed earlier, but now the far end is visible. It leads to a land filled with light, clarity, direction, and peace. This is the land of understanding, the place where the truth no longer lives in shadows. Michael says that after this revelation arrives, you will no longer walk with confusion clinging to your shoulders. You will walk with insight. You will walk with confidence. You will walk with renewed purpose. This truth will not merely inform your decisions. It will shape the way you step into your future. It will lift you into a higher level of discernment. Heaven has been watching over every part of your journey, and now Michael hands you the same glowing box that appeared earlier. The box, once trembling in your hands, now feels steady, warm, and familiar. Heaven does not require you to open it yet. It simply requires you to receive it. Michael says this box represents the revelation itself, a truth that will unfold fully in divine timing, through signs, through clarity, through sudden understanding, through conversations, or through inner awakening. What matters is that you now have access to it. The gate is open. The seal is broken. The season is ready. Michael places his hand on your back, and the strength that floods your spirit feels like a mantle of authority. He speaks with a voice that carries the weight of heaven. You are ready. You are aligned. You are chosen to carry the truth that is rising. These words are not flattery. They are assignment. Heaven is commissioning you into a new chapter, one marked not by questions, but by clarity. Not by delay, but by movement. Not by confusion, but by understanding. This is the turning of the page. This is the crossing of the threshold. This is the awakening you have been sensing long before your mind could grasp it. Stand firmly, because the truth coming toward you will not diminish you. It will elevate you. It will not break you. It will strengthen you. It will not destabilize you. It will anchor you in clarity. You have reached the moment where heaven completes what it began. If this message resonates with your spirit, like, share, comment, hype this video, and subscribe so heaven's word can continue reaching hearts that are waiting for alignment. Type "I receive my revelation" completely in the comments if this final wave speaks deeply within you. Blessing code 999 has been released over your life. As this divine unveiling comes full circle, heaven is inviting you to help carry this light into places you may never see, but God desperately wants to reach. When you support this mission, you are not funding a platform. You are planting seeds into souls standing on the edge of transformation, just as you stood. Michael himself stands as witness that every seed of support becomes a spiritual ember that sparks awakening in someone else's darkness. God is declaring over you. Your generosity becomes the oil that keeps the flame of revelation burning, not as metaphor, but as a living prophecy tied to your obedience. Hear the invitation in my voice. I am calling you to join this movement, to stand in the flow of heaven's work with action rather than intention alone. Whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your gift becomes a prophetic act that heaven acknowledges immediately. I speak blessing over every giver. May rivers of clarity, protection, and elevation flow back into your life in multiplied measure. Step boldly now, for this final act of faith aligns you with the very revelation heaven has begun releasing.